Greetings viewers and welcome back to Just Short of Fantastic. The next music video in the South Korea musical sequence is going to be about buses, and I thought what better way to set it up than to regale you with tales of my bus misadventures. I love the buses in South Korea. Taking a bus here is just way cheaper and way more convenient than in Canada. Stories about bus misadventures. So in my first year here in Korea, I wanted to go to a K-pop festival which was happening in Daegu. And so I knew nothing about Daegu. I got on a bus that was going to Daegu, and I was supposed to get off at the terminal and meet my friends. And so I got on the bus, and the bus ride was like 3 hours. And then when I got there, we pulled into one terminal, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's Daegu, I have to get off. So I quickly get off the bus. And then after the bus pulls away, I realize that I am not in the right place. So I start panicking and I text my friends and they're just like, yeah, just get on the subway. It should be right next to the terminal. And I'm like, there's no subway here. They're like, oh, well, that sucks. So I got in a cab. Of course, I think it was Saturday. It was a Saturday and there was this festival going on and there was so much traffic, and I was in this taxi for forever, and the taxi driver wanted to play 20 English questions for like 40 minutes. Awkward. But anyway, turns out Daegu actually has 2 bus terminals, which I mean sort of makes sense because it's a huge city. Story number 2. It's really funny because it's really stupid. So a friend of mine, we're reading through my South Korea guide, and we read about the Gwangju Art Street, and we're all like, yeah, this sounds really cool, let's go there. So we checked the guide and it told us what buses to get on to get there. And we went downtown and we got on this bus, and we took this bus for over an hour as it went all through the city of Gwangju, and we eventually ended up on the outskirts out where like the factories and stuff are. We're just like, where are we? We haven't seen our stop at all, and we have no idea what's going on. So we're on the outskirts of the city. It's just me and my friend and this one other old guy, and the old guy gets up to get off at the stop, and he turns to us and he's just like, Korean, 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 Korean. This is our first year in Korea, so we don't really speak Korean and we don't really know anything, which will become obvious when I get to the end of the story. So we understand through body language and the tone that this is the last stop on the route and we have to get off the bus. So my friend and I get off the bus and we're just like, where are we? What do we do now? We just cross the road and we go to the bus stop on the opposite side and get on the bus, and we're trying to figure out like where we went wrong, where we're supposed to be going. We go all the way back downtown. Little did we know that the Gwangju Art Street is in downtown. It's like the stupidest mistake to ever make. We get off the bus downtown, we get in this taxi, and we tell the guy we want to go to Art Street, and he just starts like yelling at us and telling us that Art Street was like right there. But of course in Korean, so we don't understand, and he's just like frantically pointing down a side street, and we're just like, what are you saying? What are you trying to tell us? So we finally understand that the Art Street we've been trying to find is just one street over from the main street of downtown. Story number 3. I decided I wanted to take my sister to Unjusa, and when we got on the bus, I had to tell him where we were going. 1, to make sure that that bus actually was going there, and 2, so that he could charge us the correct fare. So I get on and I say, Unjusa. It's like, ne, Unju. I'm like, okay. We have our bus cards, we get on, we sit in the back. So we're on the bus, and I know that we're not there yet, but then we come out of this village and the bus driver pulls over onto the side of the road, looks up into his mirror at us, and he's just like, Nungju, Nungju. And we're just like, what are you talking about? Like, we don't want to go to Nungju, we're going to Unjusa. He keeps yelling at us, Nungju, like you need to get off here for Nungju. And I'm just like, we're not going to Nungju. Figure out that it was a miscommunication. And he's like, you need to come up to the front so I can charge you more. I'm just like, yeah, I know. But we get to Unjusa and we go to the front and we swipe our cards again, then we shuffle off the bus feeling like really, really guilty. Unjusa is still my favorite place though. Story number 4. This last story is another express bus story about the time I decided I wanted to go to the Dino Museum in Haenam. I got on an express bus from Gwangju to Haenam, and I only sort of knew where I was going. I figured that once I'd gotten to the city of Haenam, there would just be like a regular city bus to take me to the Dino Museum. But I was wrong. When you get to the Haenam bus terminal, you have to get on another express bus that is going to Jeollanam-do. So you have to get on the bus to Jeollanam-do, but you have to get off at like the first stop. Because it's an express bus, but it does like all these little stops along the way. I did not know this. I just got on the bus hoping that it would be extremely clear where I was supposed to get off. Of course it wasn't. And I ended up going all the way to Jeollanam-do. Well, this is awkward. I felt really bad about it because I'd only paid to go like one stop. So I went into the terminal at Jeollanam-do and I bought another ticket going all the way to Haenam. Luckily, like the buses run constantly and I wasn't waiting very long. And then I showed the driver my ticket. I'm like, this is where I want to go. Please tell me when to get off. And he was like, yes, okay, absolutely. So we went almost all the way back to Haenam. He pulled into the stop and he's like, this is the Dino Museum stop. Thank you so much. So I got off the bus at the Dino Museum. I had a great time. Moving on. I'm really looking forward to the 3rd music video in my series, so stay tuned for that and stay just short of fantastic.